Hey everybody, it's end of January 2025, and it's been a couple years, a little more than that, that the residential real estate market has been a little bumpy. It's been pretty decent in Utah compared to other markets, but there's been a lot of mixed signals. And I've kind of had to say the same message to clients for about 2.5 years now. Interest rates, new administration, all these things affecting the market. But there's been some insane changes in January of 2025. And I guarantee you this information is not out in the media yet. Why? Because in real estate, to provide enough data and make market decisions based on statistics, we have to see closings occur. And typically that takes 30 to 60 days. And then we gather that data and we can say, oh, the market's appreciating, or oh, more sales have occurred. But there is one unique factor that we can check in real estate that many don't check, and that is the escrow period. We can see the amount of volume of properties going under contract, which does give us a bit of a crystal ball to look into the future. And everyone says a famous saying, you can't time the market. It's not true. You actually can a little bit. Under contracts give us a window 30 to 60 days in the future, and wait till you see what's going on in Salt Lake County. So I'm going to narrate as I show you this screen. I've zoomed in, so hopefully it's rather legible. And I think here is all you really need to know. If you look in Salt Lake County and you look at all single-family homes, condos, and townhomes included, there's 2,101 properties for sale today. To put that in perspective, there was around 24 to 2,500 homes on the market during the winter of 2024. And in a really soft month, we only sold about 500 homes. So you could say there was we crept up to a 5-ish, maybe a 6-month supply of housing in the slowest month of the year. To put that in the grand perspective, in the Great Recession, 2008 to 2012, we got to having over 10,000 homes on the Salt Lake market, highest we'd ever seen. And the worst month on record ever, which was November of 2009, only 444 properties closed. So we had a couple year plus supply of housing, which is really the main factor for the market crashing at the time. Well, now we're down about 400 homes, which doesn't seem too significant, but it's a decent percentage. We're down about 20% from the amount of homes that were on the market just last month in December. And that's not the whole picture. If we then look at the number of properties that are under contract, meaning a buyer has put them under contract but hasn't closed yet, there's 1,080. That's a huge jump from what we've seen since Halloween of 2024. And to put that in perspective, let's look at what has sold in the last 30 days. In the last 30 days, only 618 homes have sold. In other words, people were shopping from Thanksgiving through New Year's, and that's when they contracted homes. And then in the last 30 days, they've closed them. And usually December or January is about the lowest unit sales month of the year, and only 618 close. So if you're a market analyst and you're writing an article for a local news station, you're going to say, well, there's 2,100 homes on the market and only 600 have closed in the last 30 days. And, that would say that there's over a 3-month supply. So it's still a pretty strong buyer's market, and sellers need to negotiate. Sellers need to lower price. Sellers need to give concessions. And December was a bad month. If that's all you looked at, that's what you'd say. I'm here to tell you it's the polar opposite, and you're going to hear that coming out in the media over the next 60, 90 days. Why? Simply because of this number of homes that are under contract right now in Salt Lake County. That's over half of the existing inventory. There's 2,101 homes on the market. There's 1,080 under contract. That would say, based on what's under contract, we have less than a 2-month supply. That means it's turned back to a seller's market. And we haven't had a seller's market since May of 2022. It's been almost 3 years. The one other thing you can check that kind of backs up this type of data is I can export this into an Excel spreadsheet, and I'll be not too long-winded here, but just give you a few more things to consider. everyone always says we have a seasonal market and the most homes come on the market and the most homes sell in spring. I hear this all the time. That's true. But what consumers don't realize is they don't put actual timing on that. The reality is, in a good or bad year, we typically see the amount of homes going under contract really pick up in February. The fact that we're seeing it in January this year tells me spring and summer are going to be extremely strong. Typically in February, we see under contracts pick up from what they were in the prior winter, 40 to 60%. Right now, under contracts are up almost 100% from where they were in the winter. And to put some dollars to this and tell you what it costs you to wait, let's look at last year, which wasn't a great year in real estate. If we go back to December of 23, so about 14 months ago, 821 homes sold, and the median price then was 491,000. The median asking price was 505. So on average, sellers were getting 97% of what they were asking. So there was a little bit of negotiation. Buyers were asking for closing costs. Buyers were asking for repairs to be done. And unit sales, November of 23, December of 23 were the lowest of the year. That's to be expected. January then in 24 was even lower than December of 23, but median price bumped up a little bit. Then February, we saw about 20% more homes sold, and median price went from 500 to 525 in 1 month. In 30 days, it went up 5% in a soft year, in a year that January sold less than December. Now let's look at this year. November was the low, 883 homes sold, and a median price of 514. Notice it was still higher than the median price low of the prior year. So even if you compare the lowest month of the year and a soft market, real estate was still up based on median price in Salt Lake County in 2024. But then this past year, just a few months ago, December outsold November, and 923 homes sold, which is about 13-14% increase over the prior December. And median price jumped to 535 in December, whereas it was 491 14 months ago. So we saw a $44,000 increase if we compare December to December. And so far in January, there's been 526 closings. So we already kind of looked at that, which we noted it was low. So not a lot of people shop during the holidays. But so far, median price is holding pretty close. It's only a couple percent off of where it was in December. All right, so what does all that mean? What it means is you got to look at that number of homes under contract. It has literally doubled from where it was averaging over the last 90 days. We have over 1,000 homes under contract. We only have 2,100 on the market. We're seeing median price hold firm in the months that it shouldn't hold firm. And that 95, 96, 97% of asking price is going to go away very quick. I'm telling you, if you're a buyer right now, the door is closing on your opportunity to try and negotiate. If you're a seller right now and you've been reducing price and you're still getting some showings, we haven't been able to say this for almost 3 years. I would probably hold pretty firm to your price right now, and it will likely sell over the next 30 to 90 days as the market improves. So to see that amount of volume going under contract this early in the year, and interest rates haven't come down, and the new administration is in but hasn't done much yet, so to speak, for the real estate market, I'm telling you, I'm very bullish on this spring. Those of you that listen to my videos, you know I'm typically a little more pessimistic and giving the realities of the market. If I had to guess, I'm going to tell you that median price from January to July goes up somewhere between 8 and 10%. I know that sounds crazy, but we've had many years that it's done that or more. And even in soft years, like last year, we saw it go up 5-ish%. And that ride is starting right now. In fact, we had 3 homes under contract last week representing buyers. We had 2 listings that have been sitting all winter go under contract. And of those 5 transactions, 2 were multiple offer situations. And I don't think we've had a multiple offer situation in 2 years. So that gives you the street knowledge of what's going on right now. And it really could cost you around 10% in the price of your house if you're a buyer, if you decide to shop between now and the 4th of July and you buy towards the end of that summer run-up. Many people say, well, then I'll just wait for next fall when it backs off a little bit. It's not too typical that we see the market go down as far as median price goes in September, October, November, December. If we do, it tends to back off maybe 1/3 of the amount that it appreciated in the spring. So if we go up 10-ish% over the next 6 months, you might see 2 or 3% come down next winter. And then this probably restarts next January. And at some point during all that, rates come down and it'll put all this on wildfire and we will see appreciation again. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what the data shows. In fact, if you go back a century in Salt Lake, there are only 7 years, 4 of which were the Great Recession. 4 plus 3 other rare years, the market was down a tiny bit. The median price went down over the year. So you have a 93% chance based on the last century that if you buy, it's going to go up. And that door is closing on the bottomed out median price. And really, I don't even know if you got 30 days, but now's the time to try to hurry and contract something. The last thing I'll say is when most buyers hear this, the typical response I get is that sounds good, but I'm not in a rush. I'll wait for the right house to come along. I hate to say it, but that's such a real estate mistake. It's such a fallacy because our thought is, well, I don't like anything on the market right now and I can go up to 700 and nothing up to 700 looks good. So I'll wait for something to come along. And I heard a lot more houses come on in the spring. Well, they do. But when the market's appreciating, the homes at 700 and under are just going to get crummier and smaller and or worse location. And you're going to dislike that future inventory even more than you dislike the current inventory. So unless you can raise your price, you're going to miss out on that appreciation wave and the inventory gets crummier. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news for those that are shopping, but hopefully you know what we do here at UtahCribs. We're educating you so you can make an educated decision when it comes to your real estate.